Hello everyone, welcome back to my humble little channel. I haven't done any videos for a while because there's just not been anything worth doing a video on. And apart from that, I'm in an outside shed and it's been absolutely bloody freezing out here until the last few days when it's warmed up considerably. It's up to about 10 degrees outside at the moment. And I have got a heater in here, but it takes about half an hour to an hour to warm up. Anyway, on the bench today we have a Roberts RT22, which belongs to the sister of my friend, and I've had this thing in before for a repair. It's last time I remember, if I remember rightly, the whole case was falling apart. I had to put in some nails. You can't see them, they must be under this piping, grey piping. But anyway, the whole wooden case was coming apart, so I managed to glue it and nail it back together. It looks in good condition still. The other thing it had was a broken aerial, so I had to kind of bodge this. I bought an aerial off eBay of suitable length, and then the original stump was left with the swivel on it. So I think what I did was, if I remember rightly, we can see there, I think I must have put a threaded bolt up inside there and then soldered it. That's what looks like I've done with it, and it seems to have done a fairly good job because it now works well, although obviously it's not the original aerial, but it's a ratty old radio, so who cares what it looks like as long as it works. But anyway, I had a little note with it this time when it turned up, and the note says, could you get Nick to check the radio as it keeps going dead with new batteries? Love you. Not me obviously, but her brother. So at least I've got some idea, and let's switch it on then. Let's see what channels we switch it to. Well, that's
what responsibility
long wave.
Does Israel have over the Palestinian territory?
That's radio 4 and long wave.
Well, like so many things, Sarah, here, it's completely...
That's no problem with that.
What Israel says in response...
Let's try medium wave.
Dr. Harries has told them these areas will need to respond differently.
Let's try FM. A bit scratchy. That's the probably the polyvaricon. There's not much I can do about that. But anyway, it seems to be working fine. Apart from the scratching.
Hill. It is still closed, that whole stretch south of which
Radio 2 on FM. But one thing I did notice when I first had a look at this, if you look at the tuning pointer, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's the reflections. Yeah, okay, if I go along with the tuning, and if you get halfway along, about now, it was jamming up, it stopped. Well, it stopped jamming up, but it was actually jamming at about this point, which I thought was probably a dial cord issue or whatever. But now it doesn't seem to be jamming up. But anyway, we'll look inside it and see what may or may not have been causing that problem. So, at the moment, it just does seem to be working. If it's going off occasionally, I maybe a suspect switch. I don't know what bands they use it on most. She uses it on most, but I'll give the switches a spray with switch cleaner anyway. Let's have a look at the bottom, and typical Roberts bottom. And also, when I had this last, I converted it over because originally they had obviously PP. There's some noise outside. I must check what that is. Okay, well that noise was a sun parasol suspended normally on the sort of the what do you call it, buttons, for want of a better word, in the garage. It's somehow mysteriously fallen down. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, I when I give these radios to people or work on them, I generally replace the PP9 connectors with a set of AA battery holder, because I think these last longer. They may not do, but whatever, and also they're probably cheaper to buy. So I think what we could do, before I go any further, I also put a bit of foam down there just to cushion it. I might check the voltage on these batteries, just to make best thing to do when you're testing something, I guess. See what the voltage is on the batteries. So how do I do that? Okay. It's a bit intermittent on the battery connectors, but yeah, I suspect there's some intermittency. I was getting varying readings there. They don't look corroded or anything like that. Try again. Well, I'm getting 9.5 volts, although you can't see the meter. 9.5. But if I push on it, let's go up to the meter. See that now I'm only getting whatever I'm getting. Dodgy. Trying to work out which one's is which. That's got to be the output, because I was getting 9.5 at one point. I'm not getting 9.5 now. I'm going to have to check this battery holder and give it a cleaning up, I think. Okay, here's your problem. There's my pointer. What should we have for pointers today? Small screwdriver. Look at the corrosion. That is not nice. Every other one is perfect, so one of the batteries in here must have leaked at some point, and now that is really not nice at all. So what am I going to do now? I think what I might do is just because that's never going to come good, is it? That corrosion in there. I might have to replace it with another battery holder, because I think I've got some somewhere. Hang on when I find a battery holder. Yeah, well I found this one, but it's not great either. This one's also got corrosion. So, which is worse? I mean, that one is pretty awful. But, I think what I'm going to have to do is just give that a good filing. And maybe stick some solder on it. So that's what I'm going to do. Give it, well, I can find me file. Needle file. Might try the old vinegar trick on it as well. See if that makes it happy. I've only got cider vinegar. I don't know if that matters, because I quite like cider vinegar on whatever. Right. So you can see that. I'm down to bearish copper now, and I could get some solder on there, and that would probably sort that out. But first of all, I think I will get the cider vinegar. Right, here we are. Best Waitrose cider vinegar. Well, essential Waitrose cider vinegar. So let's put a little bit in the top. Okay, only need a small amount. And give this a clean. Because once you get this corrosion in there, there's no stopping it, and it'll probably creep along the metal contacts. Hasn't got through to that side yet, so continuity, should check continuity between that and the other contact. .2 ohms. Yep, that's okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do get more problems in the future. But for the time being, I think that will have to do. So let's put the batteries back in, see what we get now. I suppose I should clean that up really. Get rid of all that damp cider vinegar. Right. Put the batteries back in and see what it says now. DC volts. Well, that's not very hopeful. 6.3. Ah, but do we know the batteries are good? That's 1.5. 1.6, whatever. 1.6. 1.6. 1.6. And this is the bad one. 1.6. So why the hell am I only getting... This obviously requires more investigation. Okay, found out what the problem was. I put one of the bloody batteries the wrong way around, didn't I? So, if I stick that back on there now, and up to the meter, 9.6 volts, exactly what you expect. But I think, other than changing this whole battery holder, where's the nasty one? Which I'm not going to do. I'm not going to change the battery holder. I think on that corroded one, I'm going to put a blob of solder on there, which of course is a bit of a bodge, but it just may prevent any more problems. If I can get it to heat up okay without melting the plastic. Right. That looks fairly successful. So, battery back in, and you have to be really quick doing that because otherwise the plastic melts on these things. 9.6 still, that's fine. Right, let's just see if it's working now. I'm sure it will be. Ah, the good old Archers. Still going after 50 odd years.
There we go.
A simple tale of simple country folks.
I'm going to borrow Brian's chainsaw.
What?
Yeah, I'd like to borrow Brian's chainsaw sometimes. FM. Put the aerial right up this time.
I found it.
One more.
Review. He quoted this bit.
I think it sounds as good as it's ever
Beautiful
going to
tile
sound,
kitchen at Brookfield Barn.
which is not
built
fantastic.
by slaves. Monic.
Nasty scratching. Medium wave.
So much. And when she was last on to talk about her documentary,
Girls on film. Duran Duran. Okay, it works. But I think I'll take it apart anyway, just to see what state it's in inside. And how do we do that? We get rid of this bit of foam for a start. Okay, these are the two screws to get it apart. First of all, you have to undo the aerial, of course. And that is extremely... Oh, it's got a horrible module in it. I just noticed that. I won't be doing anything with that then. This is... I sure tightened this out when I last had it. Right, that's got the bastard. Bit of a nuisance not being able to disconnect the battery holder. Bit of a nuisance lighting this thing as well. Okay, speaker wires off. See if we can get it. If you grab hold of these things, you can usually push it. That's it, that goes like that. And there's another one down there. If you just push on those, then the whole thing slides up. Unless of course it's all sticky and nasty, in which case you have to use medieval tactics on its arse. Right, that comes out to reveal the front panel in all its glory, which looks fairly good. And of course they've stuck everything inside this metal box, so there's no hope of, well, there is hope of getting in there, but I'm not going to go in there. And because, you know, the tuning capacitors was scratching a lot, but that's just the way it's going to be, I'm afraid. And as I said, you'd never get another one probably. So there we go, that's what's inside an RT22. What's on the other side of it? Wonder if it had chips in those days. No chips. No chips. It's got the old lock fits. The old lock fit transistors. BC158 I think that says. And it's got some nice little ones there. Don't know what the data would be on one of these. Probably mid 70s, 74, 75, something like that. And I'm not going to twiddle anything. I'm not going to change the capacitors because it bloody works. Why bother? It sounds fairly okay. I don't think changing the capacitors would make the slightest difference in this case. So put it back together and I won't bore you by that. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm going to squirt it just to be on the safe side. It never hurts to squirt something. Squirt the switches. Always a good idea. They always get corroded, and I'm sure I did it last time I had it here. Right. Not forgetting the volume, although that's been done as well. Not probably a couple of years ago I last had this thing here for repair. So there you go. Put it back in its box. So all back together, working fine. Radio 4 long wave. Radio medium wave, whatever, loads of stations. Most of them pretty weak.
Martial arts qualification.
And of course VHF with no aerial up.
Well looked after, they're doing their job as normal, and what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I would consider that fixed for the time being. And that's about it really. That's the end of the video. Sorry it wasn't more exciting. But hopefully the next one will be. You never know. So bye for now.